Good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution Throwback Thursday. Where are we at? 786 on the episode count. Good morning. Throwback Thursday means we don't have a topic today, so whatever crosses my mind. Computer was a little slow this morning. It was a race between the coffee maker and the computer. The coffee maker, pretty quick this morning. Computer, not so much. Madison Card Show this Saturday. We're sold out, 125 tables, a bunch of first-time dealers that are new to the Madison Card Show, so excited about that. A lot of our favorite regulars will be there, so it's going to be a good time. Sheraton Hotel, John Nolen Drive, 9 to 3, free admission, 125 tables this Saturday. I will not be set up, so with a sellout show, I won't set up, but I will be set up next Saturday, the 28th of January, in Rockford. So I'll be set up Saturday, January 28th, new location in Rockford for the Rockford Card Show. And I always forget to write that down. But if you Google it, you can find that information. I'll have all of my quarter boxes in tow the 28th, which is also Royal Rumble Day. Excited about that. Max, what's happening? We've got Brian in the chat. David, good morning. Boston Smokes in the house. Harlan, what's up? Michael, Raphael, Scotty Dubs, coming to Madison Saturday. Awesome. Paige and Deanie Bean, what is up? So I want to talk about milk. What? I want to talk about milk this morning. So I went to the grocery store 2 days ago. Victor, what's up? Tuesday? Today's Thursday, so Tuesday. Went to the grocery store, got the stuff, got the groceries. I got some milk. I've got a few different takes on milk. Normally, I'm a 2% guy or 1%. I'm not much of a whole milk guy. My wife does skim milk, so guess what I do now? Skim milk. And I've just come around to it. When my wife buys milk, she buys like those itty bitty, almost like one serving containers of milk. And guess what? When we have those single serve containers of milk in the refrigerator, guess what? I don't have enough milk for a bowl of cereal. If I want some Cinnamon Toast Crunch or some Golden Grams, it's like, it's the small milk container. So when I go get the groceries, I buy, and I don't buy the gallon because we don't drink that much milk. I buy the half gallon. And guess what? It sits in the fridge. And I don't use it, and my wife doesn't use it, and we end up throwing most of the milk away. So I bought a half gallon of milk because, I've got some cereal in the pantry. I'm going to have some milk and cereal. Cereal and milk. Wasn't that a song? Milk and cereal. Yeah, and guess what? Haven't used the milk. It's been 2 days, haven't even cracked open the milk until this morning, because guess what I forgot at the grocery store? Coffee creamer. I'm a creamer guy. I don't do sugar. I don't want my coffee sweet, but I want there to be just a little bit of something in my coffee. Just a little bit. So I do dilute it just a bit with just a splash of milk this morning because I didn't bring creamer and sugar. Ugh. I do not like sugar in coffee. I cannot take sugar in coffee. I need that bite of the coffee. I need to taste the coffee, but a little more subtle than the whole cup of black coffee. I need a little something. Splash of creamer. I'll do the milk. I don't prefer milk. I prefer creamer. Little hazelnut, French vanilla, Irish cream. But in a pinch, the milk will do. Also, I went on a run of drinking milk. Like at night, drinking a glass of milk. And guess what? I drink it with ice. And some people think that's gross. And there was probably a time where I thought drinking milk and ice was disgusting. And I really like iced milk. It's very good. If you think it sounds disgusting, you should try it. It's very good. Just drink it fast, because the problem is if you don't drink it fast enough, it will get watered down. And there's nothing worse, well, there is, than watered down milk. So, ice and milk. I haven't had iced milk in a long time. Maybe I should have a glass this evening. We've got Shaw Cards in the house. Kyle, good morning. He's coming to the Madison Card Show. Let me tell you something. Wasn't that Fire Marshal Bill's? Let me tell you something. Fire Marshal Bill. Let me tell you something. Now I'm thinking of the Fire Marshal Bill skits from In Living Color. Let me tell you something. Found a handful more of Cubs cards. Excellent. So the card show, holy moly, like I started seeing a decline in cards. And I guess we'll see in 2 days at the Madison Card Show how things turn out. But the first 6 months of 2022, card shows were booming. January, crazy. February, crazy. March, April, May. And then we hit the summer months as expected. The summer months were a little slower. And I expected that little boost in the fall. And I'm like, oh yeah, just wait till September, October. Those shows are going to be crazy. And that take was wrong. Much like my basketball take of 2021. Just wait till a month before NBA season starts. And I'm going to make a killing on these SGC slabs that I bought at the National. And I was wrong about that. So September, October, it was underwhelming. Underwhelming shows in September, October, at least not just Madison, but every show I went to in September, October. And then November hit. I expected a little less of a show in November because the Spectacular in Chicago was going on. I lost a lot of my regular dealers, and I knew some of the bigger buyers would be in Chicago. But it was actually good traffic. The traffic in November at the Madison Card Show was better than September, October. Then December came along, and I'm like, now I don't know what to think. I'm thinking I'll sell out the show with dealers because, well, there's no competing show. And I was wrong about that. I think I only, out of 125 tables, I think I was at 110 maybe. And that's including my 3 that I set up my bargain boxes. However, the traffic was great. It was the best show in Madison probably since May. So after December and not selling out tables in December, I'm thinking they're raising my rent. The Sheraton in I've talked about this in other shows about in other Hobby Evolution shows about the ins and the outs of running a card show. And it's not just picking a date on the calendar. Hey, there's no card shows on this date. Let's go with it, because I'm at a venue that also hosts weddings, which is good because it's a nice venue. It's bad because weddings make the hotel a lot more money than the Madison Card Show. It's a one-day show. Most people aren't spending the night. What do you do at a wedding? You spend at least one night, probably 2 nights. So they're making a lot of money on rooms and catering. Yes, they make a ton of money on catering. Guess what's not catered? The Madison Card Show. So I am, when it comes to vendors at the Sheraton Hotel, one of the low men on the totem pole. So last year, they gave me, going into 2022, the venue allowed me to book all of my dates, boom, in one swoop, the whole year. Guess what they didn't allow me to do for 2023? Book the whole year, because they missed out on 2 weddings last summer because the lowly Madison Card Show was taking up their space. So the Sheraton lost a decent amount of money by hosting the Madison Card Show instead of a wedding. It's business. I get it. So I just want to pass that along to everybody that's like, oh, like this weekend, there's also a show in Woodstock, Illinois. There's also a show in Oconomowoc. Guess what? There's only 4 Saturdays a month. There's only 4 Saturdays a month, and there's a lot of card shows on Saturdays each month. So it's bound to happen. I try to stick to the 3rd or 4th weekend. Sometimes it might be the 2nd weekend. It's now I'm really at the mercy of the Sheraton because they're only allowing me to book 3 months at a time, and they're not giving me much. Like, I won't be able to book my April, May, June shows until the second week of February. Now, initially they told me the end of January, and so I was hoping by this Saturday I would have my dates for April, May, June. But they're going to drag their feet because they want to book those dates for weddings. So I'm at the mercy of the venue. But January, February, March, those dates are booked. This Saturday, Madison Card Show, January 21st, February 25th, and March 18th. That date had to change from the 25th because guess what? They had another, before we signed the contract, they were able to pull in a decent event that allowed them to make a lot more money than the Madison Card Show. So unfortunately, that's the same weekend. The Madison Card Show March, unfortunately, again, will be the same weekend as the Chicago Sports Spectacular. And it's either have the show on March 18th or not have a show in March. So that's what I'm up against. And it's like, so then your second line of questioning is, okay, find a new venue. Not so fast, my friends, as Lee Corso says. I did that, and it's there's a lot that goes into it. So if you're thinking of starting a card show, let me tell you, if you're in Wisconsin or Northern Illinois, don't. There's plenty to go around, but there are underserved spaces, geography, cities, areas in the U.S. that could use a card show. So if you're in one of those areas, I would definitely encourage you if there's a need. And I was actually talking with a friend about this just a few weeks ago, and he had decided on a couple venues, but he hadn't talked to the venues yet. And I said, it's like going house. My wife's in real estate, so this is kind of an analogy that works in real estate. It's like, if you're looking to buy a house, you're looking within your budget, right? You're not going to go, if your budget is $300,000, you're not just going to go blindly look at a $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 house because you're going to fall in love with that house. And then all of the $300,000 houses within your budget are going to look like shanties. And you're going to be unhappy, and it's not good. And you're wasting more importantly, you're wasting a realtor's time. It's like, well, you don't even have the money for this. Why am I carting you around to something you can't afford? So if you're looking to start a card show, first things first, identify, and we had it's kind of like the 6 steps of the sales process. First, identify, and my professor, Dr. Jim Kenny, will be, is probably smacking me on the head if he heard me say this. I can't remember the 6 steps of the sales process. But essentially identify the need. Does your market need a card show? Is there a demand for a card show? If you're in Southern Wisconsin, I can tell you there's not a need for card shows in Southern Wisconsin, really anywhere in Wisconsin. So identify the need. There's a need, and then look for venues. And if there's a venue that, hey, this could really work, check it out, call. And before you even go look and fall in love with the venue, ask for pricing. Some of them are going to be dodgy. If it's a hotel, they're going to be like, well, how many rooms are you going to rent out? It's like, how about none? And what's the rental price? And it's probably going to be high because you're going to get a break if you sell rooms. But then you're going to have to sell rooms. And if you don't sell rooms, you as the promoter are going to be on the hook. That's one of the issues. Because I was playing hardball with the Sheraton. They're like, initially they were only going to give me 30 days. And it's like, that's not going to work. I'm looking elsewhere. And I did. And it's like, well, we don't. One hotel even told me we're not a good fit for local events because they want out of town guests staying in their hotel. That's how they make money. They're a hotel, not an event center. I get it, business, right? So that's why hotels can be tricky. And if you do find a hotel, it can be small. And it's like, that was another thing. Oh, you're growing out of this room. It's like, well, the only other rooms are downstairs. So it's either pack this room or expand down into another level. That's what I did in February of this year. So there's so many different things. And guess what? Sometimes the venue doesn't have tables. Guess what you, as the promoter, have to do in that event? You have to rent tables. Guess what? Table rentals are not cheap, not easy. It's another thing that can go wrong in the whole process. So running a card show is not easy. I would say it's much easier if you're 50 tables or less. What I've learned from just scoping out different venues, if they have their own tables, about 50 tables is kind of like the max. I'm very fortunate the Sheraton has like 130. So I'm fortunate in that regard. But yeah, otherwise you have to go look, you have to rent tables or you have to bring your own tables. I don't like that because I like going in on Saturday morning and not having to deal with dealers bringing in tables or me bringing in tables or me lining up another third party that's bringing tables in and getting that set up. And then also you have to, is the venue going to allow you to bring in tables early? Or it's like, oh, you can't, you have it this day. And that's another thing. If you're having to rent tables, you have to speak with the venue and say, hey, can I get in early? Like the night before, the day before. And they're like, no, the contract, we're going to follow the contract. You have it for this date. You're allowed in at midnight or 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. So now you're having to set up 50, 100, 150 tables in a short time period. So there's a lot of little intricacies that go into planning a card show. But if you find the right fit, we found the right fit at the Sheraton, but still nothing is perfect. You want to avoid, okay, well, there's this show. I want to do it the second week of each month. Well, the Sheraton has a wedding and boom, you're pushed. So there are some months I'm really concerned about July because that's a peak wedding season. I have one of my best friends is getting married July 15th. The National is July 20. What's the math on that? 15th, 29th. So I won't be doing it those 2 weekends. So I can do it July 22nd. And if the Sheraton has July 22nd booked, by the time I can book it, there's no Madison Card Show in July. So be prepared. There might not be a Madison Card Show in the month of July because 2 of my weekends are out. I don't want to run it the first weekend. And if the Sheraton's booked on the third weekend, we're screwed. And it's like, do you go to a Sunday show? I don't know. I guess we'll find out in whenever I can book it, April probably. So those are some of the quirks, the intricacies of running a card show and the issues. It's not just find a venue and pick a date. You have to find a venue that works. It's like, why don't you have it at this venue? Okay, I can. And are you going to pay $300 for a table as a vendor? Probably not. And am I going to lose thousands of dollars by hosting a card show for fun? Not. Not even not. Mark says, good morning. Who's your favorite to win the Royal Rumble? So recently, I've been going into the Royal Rumble like blind. I kind of like not knowing. Because it seems like in the internet age, it seems like everything is so obvious. And maybe it's also because I'm not a kid anymore. Because growing up, like when I was watching WWF in the late 80s, early 90s, like I was a kid and I didn't catch on to, oh my God, there's going to be a heel turn. So I guess that's probably the growing up phase and the maturing process. So when I was a kid, I went into the Royal Rumble like, oh my God, I can't believe that finish. And now it's like the Royal Rumble. It's like, yep, that played out exactly how I thought. And that's not fun. So I like to just play dumb leading into the Royal Rumble. Sometimes I can't help it. I'll see stuff pop up on Twitter or Facebook or whatever. It's like, oh, The Rock is coming back to the Royal Rumble. It's like, ooh, that's pretty cool. And if they bring The Rock back, The Rock's probably going to win the Royal Rumble because it's going to set up a match at WrestleMania and all that. So even by avoiding it and just hearing blurbs, you're like, oh, this is what's going to happen. And it all plays out. It's very predictable. I kind of liked being a naive 12-year-old. Johnny Boy Cards, what's happening? Good morning to you. Max says, yuck, stop lying to yourself. Drink water or milk, don't combine them. Frozen water is not water. It's ice. And iced milk is delicious. You dip cookies in milk. You dip. Let's go sports cards. What's up? I ran a 5% ad rate starting yesterday. My Wednesday impressions were lucky if I got 25,000 impressions on a Tuesday and like $14 in sales. Got 140,000 impressions and $100 in sales. How about that? That's the power of promotions on eBay. And I shared my numbers the other day. Fire up those promotions. And you're thinking, and this is where are you going to have stale inventory in your store? I don't want this. I don't want to pay 5% extra on top of my other eBay fees and sell this $5 card, $10 card, whatever card it is. But the thing is, how much money are you making by it sitting in your eBay store for months at a time? Nothing. So it's much better to make a slightly smaller margin on $100 than a higher margin on $14. And, you can do your own math and see. I bet Let's Go Sports Cards is very happy with some of the stuff he moved. Some of it might have been stagnant inventory as well. Let's see. Where are we at? Oh, of course it skipped ahead. Let's see. Tuesday and Wednesday. Max says coffee best drank cold and in a latte, preferably Starbucks. Max. Starbucks? Ugh. That's what I think about Starbucks. Zach and Porter, what's up? Red Light 34, good morning to you. Max says, back in college, myself and another roommate went through close to a gallon a day. Damn, that's a lot of milk. Good morning, Cooter. The stripes on Bo's shirt are going to either give us vertigo or hypnotize us. Buy more cards. Link in the description to my eBay store. I added 600 cards, over 600 football cards to my eBay store yesterday. It's part of the Goodwill. No low roller scratcher. I'm sure he's asked already in the chat. I have not found any big hits in the Goodwill palette since yesterday morning. But I found a lot of $1.50 cards that are in my eBay store, over 600 more now in my eBay store. Dropped some action pack. Did I? Yeah, there's some action pack. I think there's a stack that I'm going to be adding later today. I'm going to try to get 1,000 added. I'm not sure where I'm at shipping wise for my eBay store. Since I had less than average sales over the weekend, which was by design, I was able to catch up faster this week. Yesterday, I kind of hit a brick wall. I was shipping and listing. Yesterday was a shipping and listing and shipping day. And at like 6:00, I uploaded my last batch, and my wife was on the couch. I went to the recliner and I laid that thing all the way back, and I put on sweatpants and a big comfy hoodie, and I could have fallen asleep right there. I was done. It finally hit me. I hit the wall. And I told I'm like, my Cubs high has worn off. It was a good run. Wednesday. That's a good run. Let's see. AEW is really starting to be way more entertaining than WWE. Oh, yeah. I've thought AEW has been more entertaining since episode 1 of Dynamite back in, what year was it? 2019. Big AEW fan, but I never watch it. I missed Dynamite last night. The Jericho Appreciation Society, I love it. Sing-alongs, yeah, Singing to Judas. The Coffin Drop by Darby Allin. The storylines are better. I like a balance in wrestling with a deep roster, but not so deep that, like in WWE, and I think they've kind of shaved the roster back a little bit, but it was like WWE is so predictable. Every freaking Monday night, it opens with a promo in the ring. And then guess what? Somebody comes down and talks smack to the person that's originally in the ring. And then a tag team comes down, and then another tag team. And there's like 8 effing guys in the ring doing this promo that lasts a half an hour. I get it. It's a 3, you got to fill 3 freaking hours on TV. Put some like wrestling matches on. I know it's sports entertainment. But that's why the WWE annoys me. And it's been like that since like 1998, since the Attitude Era, because Stone Cold would come out and The Rock would come out with their opening promos, and it was like crazy, but it was also 25 years ago. It's time to move on and stop saying, what? Oh, God, I hate that. So I'm just like WWE hater. And I used to be like, I was a WWE like fanboy for the longest time. But then it just kind of like, yeah, product sucks. But there's nothing else to watch. Like back, I don't know what, 15 years ago, you had TNA, and it was okay. But it just like, this kind of sucks. WWE was still better. And then it's just like, what else is there? But I started listening to some of the wrestling podcasts, and I'm listening about like MLW, and NWA came on, and I loved the early NWA YouTube shows. And so I started following some of these like indie wrestlers, and then AEW started. It's like, man, this is good stuff. Paul Heath, what's up? Good morning. Sal Dougie's in the house. Baseball card curmudgeon, what is up? Max says people do live north of Madison, FYI. There's card shows north of Madison, Max. Green Bay, Appleton, Wausau, Stevens Point. I know the big Green Bay show is only like once a quarter. But Stevens Point's every month. I don't know if there's been a Wausau show lately, but there was a Wausau show lately every month. I know with pretty much anything else, the state we aren't considered, but I'm putting my foot down here. Very underserved up here for a show. And I'm not sure where, I know you're in Rapids, but I don't know. I'll have to look at a map. But Stevens Point has good shows, I think. I haven't been up to one. I'm going to look on a map. Where's Max? Let's see. Max should start a card show in Wisconsin Rapids. You're right next to Stevens Point. What are you talking about, underserved? And Wausau's right up there. You're closer to Wausau than Madison. And isn't there a show? I don't know how far you are from Eau Claire. I think Eau Claire has shows. La Crosse has shows. And then you go east to Appleton, east to Green Bay. Now, maybe if you're in like Minocqua, maybe that's underserved, or Rhinelander. But yeah, you're in good spot. Stevens Point, that's a good show. Let's see. Zach says, I could be ignorant on this, but I'm surprised Waukesha doesn't have a card show. OC and NB serve that area, but Waukesha would be the epicenter for a lot of people. Plenty of bowling alley space. There's a lot of Milwaukee shows. There's another Milwaukee show popping up. It's like down in the Deer District. I think Milwaukee is like plenty. Like there's Oak Creek. There's Oak Creek, New Berlin. There's Oconomowoc. There's another one, a smaller one. The hell is it called? Where's it at? Root River. Franklin has it. That's 4 in Milwaukee. Let's check out the Google calendar. I mean, if you go to like the Beckett Card Show calendar, I bet Wisconsin has more card shows per capita than any other state in the country. I mean, there's card shows everywhere. Racine has a card show. Kenosha has a card show. Let's see. New Franken. That's up. Isn't that up by Max? Where's New Franken at? Let's see. New Franken. And I know some of these are smaller shows. But still, show's a show, right? New Franken is Green Bay. So yeah, New Franken. where am I? Where's my screen? Where's Woodruff, Wisconsin? January 27th and 28th. There's a show in Woodruff, Wisconsin. I've never even heard of Woodruff. So that's another show that's popping up in Wisconsin. I'm guessing that's up north. If I've never heard of it, it's up north. That's what I say. And then it's usually, it's Milwaukee. Nope, it is up north. Woodruff, Wisconsin. It's by Minocqua. It's like Minocqua. See, and I said, Minocqua, underserved. There you go. Now they're not underserved anymore. There's a show at the Oakwood Mall in Woodruff, Wisconsin, just outside of Minocqua. Let's see. So we got New Franken. New Franken this Saturday. There's a show in New Franken. This Saturday, just in Wisconsin, there's New Franken, which is up near Green Bay. There's Oconomowoc, which is Milwaukee. And there's Madison, which is Madison. And then there's Woodstock, which is right on the border. So that's just this Saturday alone. This Saturday alone. Those are all, I guess New Franken's probably 2 hours from, maybe 2.5. Probably 2.5 hours from Madison. Oconomowoc's about an hour from Madison. Woodstock's an hour 45. Let's see. Franklin, Root River, that's a Sunday show on the 29th. We've got Oak Creek, that's always the first Saturday. Stevens Point, which looks like it's running up against Oak Creek. Let's see. Knights of Columbus, South Milwaukee. There's another Milwaukee show. South Milwaukee at the Knights of Columbus. Oconomowoc. Let's see, where else? Racine at the Roma Lodge. Janesville. Oh, yeah, I forgot Janesville. Janesville has a show now, which I set up at almost every month. Let's see. Green Bay. Eau Claire. Looks like Eau Claire is twice a year. Those are mall shows twice a year. In Green Bay is about once every quarter. And then I know are those all of them? I thought there was a couple other. Yeah, Root River we mentioned. So there's so many shows. Let's see. Zach says, I could be ignorant on this. Oh, we just talked about Waukesha. Max says, Milwaukee area doesn't need another show, in my opinion. I totally agree. There's plenty of shows in Milwaukee. Too many already and starting to eat each other alive. I completely agree. Milwaukee is oversaturated with card shows. Ted, what's happening? Good morning. Zach says, Bo or Sal, will you guys go to the Deer District Card Show in February, first time show? I will not. I actually met the promoter. He reached out to me a couple months ago, and then he came to one of the Madison shows to introduce himself. Really good guy, really nice guy. I probably won't go. I do my circuit of shows, and I just kind of stick to my show, Janesville, Rockford, and then like the National. That's kind of or any other show that just kind of pops up. I just kind of keep it to those. Brian, what's happening? Do all of you selling cards on eBay have an LLC? I'm going to start selling and wondering if I should get one first. It kind of depends. I mean, there's really if you're just selling casually on eBay, you don't need an LLC. If you're going to go in business full time, then I would recommend getting an LLC. But if you're just selling on the side, there's no reason. And that's what my accountant said when I transitioned from selling a little bit on eBay on the side to selling a lot on the side. Even then, when I was selling a lot, I was basically it was basically a full-time job, just outside of my own full-time job. My accountant even said, he's like, no, if this is just side income, no matter what you're making, you don't need an LLC. But when I went full-time, then it was, so that's, don't take my word for it, but that's what I was advised when I was selling on eBay. So if you're just doing it, if it's just a side hustle, there's no need. Max says, how many times have you been asked why not have the show at the Alliant? I'll tell you why. $25,000 plus customers have to pay for parking. That's why the Madison Card Show is not at the Alliant. I've actually got pricing from them twice. So do the math. 200 to 300 tables, $25,000. And then your customers have to pay $8 to park. Who's going to pay $8 to park for a 2-day show in Madison, Wisconsin? I wouldn't. So that's why there's no card shows at the Alliant Energy Center. Could like a huge show come in? Absolutely. Am I going to be the one to promote it? No. But could it be done? Yes. Yeah. As long as there's like sponsorship money, it could be a possibility, a 2-3 day show at the Alliant Energy Center. But, actually it would be more than 25,000 to do a 2 or 3 day show. I think my quote on a 1-day show was, it would have been a 1.5 day show because there's a setup. So it was like 25,000 for basically a single day. So tables would have been like $600. So any dealers listening going to pay $600 for a 1-day show in Madison? No. And then nobody's going to come because they have to pay $8 to park. So that's why there's no shows at the Alliant Energy Center. Let's see. John says, driving, don't say anything to trigger me. Oh, now I'm tempted. Let's see. Where are we at? Oh, man, skipped way ahead. Zach says, dang, I had vintage Garvey cards from 1987 I wanted to get your opinion on. Max says, I was saying don't combine them. Drinking skim, not ice cubes. That's true. I don't think I would drink skim milk with ice cubes. So I will agree with you there because skim milk's already skim. So even though they are it is frozen water, it does dilute it a little bit. But whole milk in ice cubes, now that would be yummy. That would be delicious. Terry, what's up? Good morning. Good morning, Uncle Rich. He says hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you, Uncle Rich. Flipping Sports Guy says the 2015 Rumble in Philly was one of my favorites. Was there in person and loved watching people literally cry when Daniel Bryan was eliminated. It was hilarious. I'll have to go back and watch that one. This is we talked yesterday about wrestling seasons. This is Rumble season. So the month of January, I watch old Royal Rumbles, just kind of background music, background noise. So I've already watched the 92 Rumble with Ric Flair winning. I watched the last one I watched was 91. And then I did watch a more recent one from like the early 2000s. 2015, I would have been, 2015, I would have been here in Madison. I still would have been at my apartment when I first moved to Madison. So I'm sure I watched it because I don't think I had. Did I have cable? Can't remember. For the longest time, I just like, screw it. I'm not going to pay for cable. And I just had for the first 3 months, I just had DVD. Well, the first month, it took a month for me to get internet in my apartment when I moved here. And then I didn't have, I'm trying to think, I didn't subscribe to any cable. And then I got football season I waited all the way until football season. So then I went and bought like a digital antenna and I was able to get a few, like the locals to watch the football games on. And then I think I fell into the cable or whatever hole. And anyways, but WWE Network was on a lot during those days. Kyle says a wealthy businessman once told me a quick nickel is better than a slow dime. There you go. eBay Promotions helps with quick nickels. Absolutely. And that's kind of my, that's exactly why I price cards the way I price them. It's like sometimes I'm selling $5 cards, $10 cards, eBay prices for $1.50 because if I price them at $5 or $10, they're going to sit for maybe months at a time. But if I price them at $1.50, they're going to sell in minutes. And I'd rather have that quick nickel than that slow dime, as Kyle says. Cooter says Steve Garvey was definitely Hall of Famer. And everyone should invest in fractionals, and Keating agrees with me 100%. Max likes Starbucks. Blah. No other coffee store out there. Got to feed my investment. Bo, I borrowed all of those football cards. I browsed all of those football cards. A lot of great stuff. Thank you, Zach. Mark says, was at the 2008 Royal Rumble at MSG. The crowd erupted when Cena came out. I remember that. I remember where I was for that Royal Rumble, and I wasn't paying close attention to WWE at the time, but I would watch the pay-per-views. My buddy Joe, who actually I was just texting with last night, he would get the pay-per-views. This was back when you had to pay like $50. There were no WWE Network back then. And then he would make like all kinds of crap. Like every pay-per-view was like an event. And there was like 4 of us that would come over and eat all of this food, drink a lot of beer, and watch wrestling. But I remember that. And so like I didn't realize, like I was just a very casual wrestling fan at the time. So I didn't know the impact. And all of a sudden his music hit. And my buddy Joe just like, oh, and I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? It's John Cena. What? I don't get it. Zach says that's where you're wrong. John would only buy Garvey if authenticated by tag grading. George is still awake. What's up, George? Good evening to you. Brian says I would make sure that you have 500 to 1,000 followers that are repeat buyers before thinking of an LLC. Mark says one of my clients is my buddy Maven Huffman. He has told me many interesting stories about traveling on the road with Randy Orton and Ric Flair. Oh, that's really cool. That's sweet. Brian Wolf, what's up? Rich says, is the projected snowstorm going to come to Madison in time for Saturday's show? No, we had a snowstorm, but it was like last night. So we do have snow on the ground today. I don't think there's a snowstorm predicted for this weekend. I've been monitoring the weather unless something's changed. It looks like Sunday there's a chance of snow. Let's see. Yeah, we had some snow last night. I mean, there's probably, I didn't get a good look, maybe 2 inches, just enough. It's the annoying level. Like, it's where you have to decide on shovel or snowblower, and it's probably just going to be a shovel. It's been very warm the last few days, so it's likely going to just melt. A lot of it's going to melt because it's still going to be fairly warm by January conditions. Today's high is 35. So after several days of temperatures in the 40s, and still at 35, I think we'll melt some of that away. So we got a very small snow. It's enough. It's the annoying snow that it's like, do I shovel? Do I bring out the snow blower? It's probably a shovel snow. The roads were probably slick for the morning commute, as the weathermen say. Max says point is once a quarter. I thought they were more often than that. Wausau has gotten canceled the last 2. Oh, shit. I didn't know that. Eau Claire and Green Bay are about 2 hours away. Literally the only show within an hour and a half is the Point show once a quarter. Okay, I was wrong. I thought Stevens Point was a monthly show, or at least every 2 months. Let's see. Dan says 55 in the chat. Hit the like button if you want to have a good day. Thank you, Dan. 17 likes, 58 watchers. Hit the like button. Max says Madison and Chicago serve Milwaukee for shows too. Oh, without a doubt. Milwaukee and Chicago separated by 90 minutes. Madison and Chicago separated by 2 hours. Andrew says, is there news this week that Bank of America members lost money in their accounts? I don't know. Good morning, Mark. What's up? I've got a few minutes to listen. Glad to have you in. Max says Oakwood Mall is the Eau Claire show. Hawk's shop is in Minocqua. Oh, I didn't know that. Guessing something got messed up there. Oh, okay. I gotcha. Yeah, so I bet, because it does say Michael Hawk is the promoter of, Oakwood Mall, 4800 Golf Road, Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and then that Woodruff show. Where's the Woodruff? What? Did it disappear? Is he listening? Where's that? Oh, Woodruff. Oakwood Mall, 4800 Golf Road. Yep, you are right. I bet that's exactly what happened. Because the Woodruff, Wisconsin has the Oakwood Mall, Eau Claire address. And it looks like it's the same date. So, well, there you go. Max is underserved. Max, you should start a show in Wisconsin Rapids or Minocqua. Or Minocqua's probably pretty far from you. Let's see. Dan says still have to, or talk, what's Carlson? Is it Austin? Austin. Talk to Austin. Say, Austin, do Stevens point him every month. Let's see. Dan says still have to wait until March for the next show in Syracuse. The last show that was here made waves because of their sign. Johnny Boy Cards, does anyone know if Card Dealer Pro accepts Marvel cards? They accept Marvel cards, but I don't think they identify. The AI does not. I highly doubt the AI. Ted's in here, so I don't know. Well, he was. I don't know if he's still listening, but he can answer that if he's still here. I highly doubt the AI recognizes Marvel cards. It's basically baseball, football, basketball, and I think hockey. John says, I tuned into Wisconsin Evolution. We need to get John out to the Madison Card Show. Let's see. Where are we at? Buy a Google machine if you can't figure it out on your own. eBay has a card show every day. Andrew says, good morning, John. Going through the Wisconsin Card Show, Matt, makes me want to hang myself. Oof, jeez. Dan, what's happening? Good morning. Zach says, John, choose your fighter. Grappling, talk, or card shows regionally based to the host. Pick the latter. We can talk wrestling, John. Paul says, eBay credited me the money of splitting up the charges and the discount and told me it's eBay glitch they're trying to deal with. Hey! We're making waves. We're getting somewhere. We are getting somewhere. eBay glitch. Yes. Harlan says, wrestling in Wisconsin Card Show talk. Hobby evolution at a new low. That's saying something. Have you watched some of the first episodes? 2015 is the one where Rock was booed for helping Reigns win it. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to have to go back and watch 2015. I don't remember that. John says LLC makes sense for liability. There's little liability in card selling. Absolutely. One of the, it was basically LLC with an S corp for tax purposes is how I'm set up. But the LLC is also great for the card. I host a card show. So, there could be some liability there. So, if you're promoting a card show, definitely put it under an LLC. Paige and DD Bean says the Philly Royal Rumble was awesome. You got to watch that one. Fans made that Royal Rumble. Which year was that? I don't know. I don't know the venues. I just know the years until like 2000, and then 2000 to current. It's like, I don't remember. Although 2008, I remember because that was kind of an event for me. Brian says show I did was awesome, but $150 to $450 per table. $150 Wi-Fi, $200 electric, $10 to $15 parking, $10 entry, no tablecloth or garbage can, an hour setup, half an hour setup last day, $6 cocktail weenie and a huge bun. Come on. Yeah. That's sometimes that's what you're dealing with. It's there's a price tag for everything. Flipping Sports Guy says, yep, 70s. I only have the LLC because I used to resell across all categories. Brian says shows at convention centers suck. Yeah, they're super expensive. Brian Bourne in the house. What's happening? Victor, the rookie card specialist. Good morning to you. A couple years ago, there was a big fancy show in the Dells. Is that one still active? No. So they got the mini card shows, got the COVID discount. And so the Wisconsin Dells show had quite the big discount. And I believe, so that was what, 2020? Was that May of 2020? And then they did another one in August. The August show was way down from May. The May show was crazy because guess what? Everybody was cooped up. It was one of the first shows in the area. And then August, and it was like, I think it was toward the end of the month, maybe. So kids were out of school. By August, kids are going back to school. You're not going to take most of your family vacations to a place like the Dells are going to be over by the middle of August. So the August show did not do as well. And then there was issues with, guess what? The venue, it was going to be more expensive. I think there was a date conflict with the promoters. By the way, the promoters that ran the Dell show, they run the Oconomowoc show. So there is no more Wisconsin Dell show. Let's see. Flipping Sports Guy says the Philly show was cool when it was at the casino, tight but cool. Now back at the convention center. Brian's been outside and he suggests a snowblower. So is it more than 2 inches? It's some heavy stuff. Yeah, it's been warm lately, so it's going to be a wet and heavy snow. We are Wisconsin-centric this morning. Matches my shirt. Let's see. Rich says, thank you for the great chat. Where am I? And time to get on my day. Did I miss any of the standard comments? I mentioned John Nolen Drive a few times. Let's see. Andrew can't wait to watch Victor's latest video. Rich says, Victor, there was a thread on Blowout about why the Dell show in 2021 was not resurrected. Let's see. Max says something. Problem is up here. Wausau is getting almost too far north where it does become a population problem for a show. Yeah, and that's why I think, the Northwoods is underserved because there's not many people up there. Let's see. Morning from Cleveland. What's up, Cleveland? Max says, I want nothing to do with starting a show. I'm okay with the way shows I go to a run. Too many already, like opening a brick and mortar right now. Don't need a hole in my head. Yeah, I would definitely not want to open a brick and mortar shop. And I would not want to start a new card show at this point in time, unless you're in an underserved market, which there are underserved markets throughout the country. The Midwest, I would say, is pretty well served. There might be some pockets that could use a small show, but for the most part, it's pretty well saturated. And yeah, you might have to drive 2 hours. I mean, it's kind of like it's a balancing act. You want it to be a good show. You don't want to have a show in every town and there's 10 tables and 13 customers come through. You want it to be a worthwhile venture for all involved, the customers and the dealers. So sometimes you're going to have to drive an hour to a card show, which is really, if you grew up in rural Illinois like I did, driving an hour is nothing. Let's see. Brian says, Max, see if a trade night would work, be cheaper than tables. See how many people show up to support a real show. Let's see. Brian, I bite off more than I can chew every weekend as it is. Don't need to add anything else. Let's see. Yeah, and I would agree. I think Wisconsin is and Max brings up a great point about thinking Steven's point is great because it's not every month. And that's kind of my buddies that run Rockford and Janesville. They're kind of bouncing back and forth between the shows because, it's kind of like similar markets. Do you need a show every single month in both locations? It gets overkill for everybody. I mean, dealers and customers. Let's see. The 2015 Philly was when the fans went. Okay, 2015. 2018 was also in Philly. Luke's got cards. What's up? Good morning to you. What is the latest on your move? Haven't been on in a week or so. So I do have an update. I went over to the house yesterday and took some video. I don't know if I'm going to upload. It's the same. It's just me talking for 5 minutes like last time. It's like, but I mean, it does provide an update. So hopefully, fingers crossed, our building permit will be issued this morning so we can actually start building. It's completely demolished. Now we just need to start framing. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the permit comes through today and framing can start this afternoon. So we had to redesign parts of the basement. So fortunately, the redesign is actually beneficial to my card space. I get more space. Now it's only, a few square feet, but it's more, not less. So that's good. So nothing changes with my eBay store or my office. That all stays the same. The rec room, I believe, stays the same size. We are taking out the workout room, which was basically going to be a treadmill and a TV. We're taking that out because it was going to be like basically this narrow room, basically enough space for a treadmill and a TV. So it's like, it's not really useful. And we're not going to use it. So we took out the workout room. And so that is just going to stay unfinished on the other side of the rec room. So that will just be more space for my backstock area. So where like a bulk of my unlisted inventory will go. And then the bathroom, the biggest change in the basement is where the bathroom was going to be a square. It's now going to be a rectangle, which is going to cost us extra because we have to move the electric panel back to make the bathroom longer, but also opens up a hallway to access that back unfinished area because it's separated from my area with the cards, because that's where the furnace is, the hot water heater, the water softener. So there was no access to that room when it was designed. It's like, and that's like the first thing I thought, like, how are we going to access this area where we can't move anything in between? We've got to like go like this to get between the furnace. How in the hell are we going to get stuff back there? So that's the update. And hopefully today we get the permit and can start the actual build process. So I'll put that video together. It's just me talking, basically explaining what I just explained. So if you're so inclined, you can tune in. Flipping Sports Guy says, what's Flipping Sports Guy says? Philly had both 2015 and 18. 2015 was the one where it got blasted by the media for how bad it was, but gave the Philly fans so much credit for how they let WWE know it. The day after 2015, the website crashed with cancellation requests. I do remember that. Because I think I even tweeted something about that. Oh, now I gotta. Oh, man. Now that you mentioned that, I'm going to go into my, let's do an advanced search. WWE Network and I think I was on my personal account. Let's see. Ha! So my tweet, January 25th, 2015. And I quote, "With that, I cancel my WWE Network subscription. Royal Rumble sets the tone for the year, and it looks like 2015 isn't going to be a good one." That was my tweet after the Royal Rumble in 2015. Now I definitely have to go back and watch how bad it was. Somebody replied to me, "So no Sting appearance at all?" And I said, "Yeah, I was thinking he would come out. Rock showing up was awesome, but not awesome enough." Derek, who replied to me, "Strange, no Sting. Figure they would set up a WrestleMania match." Somebody else responded, "I thought people were pissed off last year, but 2015 takes the cake." I replied, "Yeah, that was just a bad pay-per-view. I had really high expectations for this event." Somebody else responded, "The Rumble sucked, but the triple threat was good." My buddy Todd says, "Awful." Another guy says, 2 straight years of booze to end the Rumble." And another response, "Agree," with my tweet. So yeah, wow, it was. Now I definitely have to go back and watch to see how bad the 2015 Royal Rumble was. Even I was canceling my network subscription. George says, "I almost had a wet and heavy snow in my underpants after some oily fried chicken. My body punishing me." Andrew says, "So basically watched 2015 and 2018, but I really enjoyed 18. Good morning, Augusta Lawn Care. What's up? Raining, so can't work." Hey, nice. It's snowing, which means I have to do more work. I have to go snow blow. John says, "Me talking wrestling is like an ex-Scientologist talking about I. Ron Hubbard. I've seen shit." Like Papa Shango. WrestleMania in Philly is going to be insane if that show starts to disappoint. Thank you for jinxing me in a good way. After your Tuesday broadcast, I sold my first Montana card after you asked, who buys Montana cards? Right. I've got a lot of Joe Montana cards in my eBay store. They're not exactly blowing off my shelf. Philly show is at an expo center, an old factory site, much better setup. Augusta says, "Can't wait for the Philly show. Haven't been to a decent sized show in 15 years, just the little local ones." Flipping Sports Guy says, "I've never been a fan of Oaks. It definitely is more spread out than Valley. Forget though." Let's see. New show in Mount Laurel, New Jersey this Sunday, right where I live. Looking forward to checking it out if you're nearby. Edward Oliver, what's up? Good morning to you. You guys are lucky to have shows somewhat near you. Try in the middle of nowhere in Mississippi. Yeah, I imagine Mississippi is not a burgeoning card show state. Let's see. Let's check out the Beckett calendar. Mississippi. Oh, there's more than I thought. Brandon, Mississippi has a show. Tupelo at the furniture market. Bud Lowe, he must be the big Mississippi promoter because he also hosts one at the Moose Lodge in Vicksburg. But Bud Lowe has the stranglehold on Mississippi card shows. Brandon Public Library. Let's see. Brandon, Mississippi, Tupelo, Brandon. So these are all they're just all space. So yeah, there's not much going on in Mississippi. Those are all like just the same month or different months. Let's see, where are we at? So we saw Ed Oliver had to reinforce the basement floor from the weight of all your cards, right? Let's see. A couch person definitely takes out the workout room. Hell yeah, it's like couch people don't need a workout room. Let's see. Flipping Sports Guy says maybe at some point I'll start content again. Let's see. Augusta says, finally made a double sale off my coupon after 2 weeks. John Elway. So decided smart thing to do, sort my Elway cards and list some more. Have an old collection and new I've bought. Cooter says, you think you hate seeing the standard envelope fees hit your account? Wait till the contractor draws get rolling. I know. Well, my wife and I were discussing that yesterday with the draws. The draws. Recently found an unregistered checklist, not from any of the companies. Turns out it's a rare issue from the NFL itself. Only found 4 listings on eBay and ComC, $50 each. Got it out of a nickel box. Interesting. Let's see. Zach says, please sign this change order, right? 2015 was bad, but man, I had so much fun. It was hilarious. Augusta says, why shovel no snow between your bedroom and your shop? That's true. That is very true. Let's see. Oh, Harlan, great question. Did the trash make it to the curb? It did. They were late. And I think the reason they were late was because this was a holiday week. So so I think basically how our city runs is there's no garbage pickup on like the holiday itself, but it doesn't, like in some, like the last town I lived, everything was pushed back a day, but that's not the case here. They double up. So I think like all of Monday's pickups were picked up on Tuesday with all of Tuesday's pickups. So they might have been a little behind picking up from previous days. I don't know, but they still picked it up, but it was a few hours late. It was like between 9 and 10 o'clock, which was good because I didn't get the garbage out to the curb until like 8:30. But yes, the garbage was taken to the curb and I caught the garbage truck in time. Let's see. Trying to change the topic to something more interesting like trash collection. The thing about Hobby Evolution is you guys control the narrative. So when people bring up wrestling in the chat or Mississippi card shows in the chat, that's where I'm going. So I'm just going to follow along. Harlan brings up trash collection, so I'm going to talk about trash collection. So you, Andrew, you control the narrative. So if you don't want to listen to my ghost stories, you change the subject. It's on you. Flipping Sports Guy says, I think I saw ads on Facebook for that one Augusta. 608 says snowblower for the win. So Brian and Cody say this is a snowblower snow here in Madison. So I will have to fire up the snowblower. Let's see. Where are we at? Bud is the cousin of Curtis Lowe. Let's see. Brian says, I forgot to tell you, I tried to start a card show in Hartford when I was an intern at for the rec department. I completely forgot about that. Very nice. James, what's up? First time at Janesville last week. Was a good show. Yes. Janesville is a good show. I'm sometimes I miss the Janesville show. Oh shit. I missed last week, obviously. But I made the last few. But I like the venue. Surprisingly, I do way better sales-wise in Rockford than I do in Janesville. But I like the Janesville venue, and usually I get some good deals as a buyer in Janesville. Let's see. George says, I know about Mississippi, born and raised. Let's see. John says, if you have Jefferson Davis cards, then Mississippi is a hotbed. George now lives millions, actually thousands of miles away in Korea. Not much different than Mississippi at times. Sure, blame the chat. Let's see. Andrew loves ghost stories. There you go. So, since the chat is done, I'm done. So, that's all for today. Throwback Thursday, which means no topic. Tomorrow, Free for All Friday. Guess what we're going to do? Tomorrow, we're going to play Name That Player. So Uncle Rich is running away in the standings. He's got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 points for Uncle Rich. Scotty Dubs is at 18 points in second place. And then, let's see, who's behind Scotty Dubs? Basement Card Collectors at 7 points. Card Hobbyist has 6. And Max has 5. So that's tomorrow. Name That Player. We've got, what haven't we done? I think we did 88 Donruss, right? I have 88 Donruss. I have 88 I think we'll do 88 tops tomorrow. But we'll let the chat vote. Or we could do 97 Stadium Club. Or we could mix it up, do a little football tomorrow. I like baseball better because I'm a baseball guy. We got 90 score football. And looks like that's it. I think we did 89. Was 89 Bowman last week? I can't remember. So maybe I'll find some new junk wax packs this Saturday at the Madison Card Show, the Sheraton Hotel on John Nolen Drive. 125 tables sold out this Saturday, free admission, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So maybe I'll find some more packs. But we'll play Name That Player tomorrow morning here on a free-for-all Friday. Randy says, I'm going to Disney today. I would rather see the goofy characters at a card show rather than the goofy characters at Disney. I'm with you on that. Let's see. We're going to talk about trash days. Also, how are your shorts doing? I posted a 40-second video and it got 2,000 views. Some of them are, my shorts are really, my shorts are like up and down. So let's see. Like I've had a couple, and then all of a sudden, I did a Cubs convention one, and all of a sudden it just blew up. Like the first day, it was like 100 views, and then all of a sudden it was at like 2,000. So my shorts, the Ethan Roberts Cubs convention debut got 250 views so far. Cody Bellinger got 865. Dansby Swanson, 612. Ian Happ selling his own coffee, 206. I thought that would do crazy. Cubs Convention Madness, 1,500, so I guess less than 2,000. I paid $500 for this pallet, only like 400 views. My home renovation, 823. So it hasn't, my shorts, there's some decent numbers, but, I'm not seeing the 2,000. So I don't know why that is. Probably because they're shitty videos. I think that's why they don't have the views. They suck. Bo reads the chat. Dan says, last time I was on StreamYard, I tried using my mic, but it wouldn't work. I was muted when I plugged it in. I know you're not in StreamYard, but is your mic a prop again? Yes. My mic's been a prop for like a month now. Great show, Bo. Been in the background. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you, Herman. Appreciate that. Augusta is mine is Mondays. Should wait till tomorrow. Let's see. Congrats on the sellout. Thank you. If you're talking Name That Playa and ain't got Backstreet in there, you got no diggity, no doubt. Let's see. John is in Arizona. Was in a car crash just down the road from Jefferson Davis's house on the way to McDonald's while listening to Backstreet. Well, that's a good comment to end on. So have a great Thursday. A bunch of football cards if you're inclined to the football card market. Check out my eBay store. Over 600 added yesterday, new inventory, closing in on 32,000 active listings. Check it out. Link in the description. 7 or more cards at regular price gets you 25% off at checkout. Tomorrow we play Name That Player. And don't forget the Madison Card Show is this Saturday. Have a great day, and we'll chat tomorrow.